Day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Rimworld Odyssey, Far From Home. In the last episode, the survivors of the 107th, both the Colonel 107th Light Foot Guard Regiment, have managed to establish themselves a little bit of an outpost here. You have got a basic barrack set up, main mess area, bit of a kitchen, some basic energy production, and some concrete mixing machines. We've also been having to deal with, we've had our first attacks, gunned down some few hapless children, and have harvested our first batch of supplies. Now, we also should probably think, now that we've got this here done, if we go back to normal view, I am going to say plant some cotton, please. Because we need to set up a couple of prerequisites quickly. So, we're going to go into here. We're going to go new. We are going to call it... we're going to call it... dress outfit. Okay, I'm just going to clear all, and it's going to be boots. We have military fatigue for the Astronotarum. We're also going to go uniform, which is what they're basically wearing, because they picked the wrong one at character creation. My mistake. But it is how it is. Basically, they look identical, to be honest. And military hats. Military uniform. There we go. And then it's the backpack. Yeah, there we go. And we sell get them to take off their armor in a second when they come back in, and then we'll set them to it. That's a really good thing, because it means that we can standardize what they wear. That being said, we do need to start building out a bit. Partly because of how, with the way that 1.6 works, you want to have separate rooms for stuff. So you want to have an independent kitchen, you want to have separate things. Okay, it's an awful barracks, that's going to give us minuses, unfortunately, yeah. Low. Oh, the psychic drone doesn't help. Slept in the heat. Yeah. To be honest, we have enough. Well, actually, to be honest, we don't actually have that much stored aside. The concrete mixer takes a lot of power. But I want to be building most of my buildings out of this, but I need to still have something like a stone cutting table, that kind of thing, because it will allow us to improve our crafting skill. But I need to put a manufactorum up. The problem is there's not actually a good place to put it besides down here, which means I want to fortify this with a pillbox. Like, this needs to get fortified because they can't easily come through this way. So, yeah, we did have some problems with enemies. Let's take some skulls. mechanoid signal. You take the signal from a mechanoid ship in orbit. The ship has malfunctioned and is slowly losing altitude. Before responding to the signal, you may crash nearby. Fascinating. Okay, let's do that. Maybe it's not a mechanoid, maybe it's part of the Imperial Naval Troop Transport vessel, the Hercules. So let's do that. Let's see where it lands. Oh man, that sucks. That's actually in a really bad location for us. Okay. Yeah. Alright. We need to go and get that before a raider turns up and smashes it. You guys, before we go anywhere else, you guys need to sort of get together. I need to get this gear off people. Okay. Stick to your las gun. Okay, but first things first. Everyone needs to drop their gear, please. Okay. Yep, so it's all stored away. Fantastic. That's done. Among the remnants of the crash platform, a still intact grav engine hums of energy. You can build a grav ship structure around the engine to create a new grav ship. The engine pushes gravity away, levitating the ship and allowing long distance travel. Launching grav ship by researching basic grav tech, then building fuel tanks, thrusters, and a pilot console. Once a grav ship will abandon your current map unless you have built a new grav anchor. Okay. Fantastic. So this has definitely fallen from an Imperial ship like grav technology. We have that. It's not great, but we do have it. Let's get this precious stuff back. The tech priestess will basically, the tech priest will want to basically get this back to the safety of the little outpost. All stored away nice and securely, please. We'll also want to deconstruct that for resources. Okay, that got built down. Now we have some concrete. So for security, concrete barrier might be nice. Yeah, that might actually do us nicely, to be honest. If we put a line of them here, they could act as a defensive bulwark. No. Ooh, that doesn't look good. I mean, what do... It's 60 versus from what's this? 55, so it's only 5%. Nah. Okay. I mean, sandbags, what do we get from that? 65. But the problem with sandbags is that they're flammable. And our las guns are a bit problematic. So probably want something like this. Yeah, something like that would work fine. So let's get that being built. That's coming along, we can leave those guys alone. Cotton's getting put in there. We've got another crop of rice coming in. It's basic meals, but this would work. Yeah, get this stuff built. The thing is, the concrete's 600 versus this, which is 195, and it doesn't look like a lot, but trust me, that will be more than enough to make a difference. So this needs to get pulled down. Yeah, this needs to get pulled down. With this basically being extended outwards, and we are going to have this gap. I probably want to restructure this defense here to make it a wider defense. We do have industrial defenses tech we can research, I believe, but that's going to be problematic. Okay, you get down here and prioritize cutting that to bits. Who has the best plant cutting skill? Because this tree needs to go. No. Cut down that tree. Right, this is getting harvested, which is great. He's so much quicker at it. It's obscenely scary how good he is at it. Okay. And that's been chopped, so we can put that in. I also want these trees chopped. Problem is they're going to come around this way, so they're going to use the hills as a... they're going to use the slopes of this as a way of funneling themselves. So I'm going to put some traps down here on this slope. So if they come around and try and keep close to this edge of this mountain, they're going to get hit. Like I said, this needs to be pulled apart. This needs to be replaced. This needs to be replaced. We have a lot to do. Concrete-wise, it's not great, but I need to start putting floors down. We've got concrete path, paved concrete 2. Get that paved. It won't look great, but it will get some organisation going on. We still need more stone to be chopped. And get some of these, because my main concern is that we get someone tries to sneak around this flank. To be honest, what we could probably do as well to save ourselves a bit of heartache is trim off these 3 here so they don't have a way of creeping up on us. Have a meal, put that stuff down. Put it down in here as well. If they come from this side... The problem is with pushing a defensive line out here is that if they attack from here, we're going to be open. I should really pull this down, but if they get a lot of toxic waste, it's going to be a pain early on. Probably what I want to do then is wait until morning, because we can actually see half decently what's going on. tear this down. We're going to put our manufactorum in this area, or our beginning manufactorum, which means we need more concrete being leveled out. Yeah. So that doing the heat is annoying, and they're complaining about the awful barracks. Okay. And we've got the cotton growing. Some potatoes are growing. Next batch of rice had come in, and we've got enough rice that we're okay for the time being. Meals are okay for the time being. Okay. So let's quickly have a look at the world map of Planet Prime that we have found ourselves on. It's probably got something like Planet P1178 or something like that. You know how it is when it comes to naming planets. Okay. So we have no world missions at the moment. We are on this main artery road, which is lovely. But the downside is that we are surrounded by a lot of weird factions. And even more so, as nice as this artery road is, it's actually quite limiting for us. Because it only goes, well, northwest to southwest. So it's great if we want to basically keep going north or keep going south, really. If we want to basically go in the west at all, it's a massive detour. And there are no roads going east beyond like this peninsula here on this continent. So to get out of the getting out of this mountain range, getting out of the Choku mountain range is going to be a bit of an undertaking. We may need to make vehicles, to be honest, if we're going to travel the roads. And even then, if you want to go east, because if you look at the world map we're on, it is basically like, it's not a super continent, but it is connected for the most part. No, it is a supercontinent. It is all interconnected. Okay. So, for us to travel at all, yeah, we're going to need to get vehicles. Alright, that's fine. We can do that. Make sure you guys will get some food, get some rest. Get some floors down, get some concrete floors down, get wood replaced with concrete. So this is going to get replaced with concrete, which is fine. I want to build an armory as well. Sergeant Harvey would definitely want there to be an armory. Winking crows. That growing. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of other fertile ground nearby we can take advantage of. This stuff is outside of... It's outside the area that I'm happy with. Steel walls. You could break that down for some steel. That might be nice. But yeah, as it stands, we're pretty limited on what we can do. What we can do farming wise, because all the fertile land is what we. It's beyond what I'd consider to be like a safe buffer zone. A wolverine must have killed themselves. Fantastic. You can send someone to collect the bodies for food. Okay. Right. But yeah. As it stands... No. Prioritize getting this done, please. Just want to get this cleaned away so we have a half decent floor setup, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, because it's pretty nippy. 1 second, folks. Sorry about that. Had to sneeze. Okay, so Wolfing got killed by a goose. Not unsurprising, they are quite terrifying creatures. Okay, so that's getting done. We're looking for concrete. We may have to send someone to actually go and start making some in a minute. Okay. I also want to build a stock room. To be honest, yeah, okay. Got nothing left to do. Prioritize working the concrete mixer, please. Yeah, working the concrete mixer doesn't give you crafting, which is annoying. But it's very, very useful. Lots of lovely concrete. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's all going well. Yeah, no mechanoid bodies in there. We'll move them into the main building. Why is there a crow? I'm not happy with that. You. Kill the crow. Right. Fantastic. Thank you. Stops it eating my supplies. Okay. With that done. Okay. So, next is to set up a defensive hold here. I probably want to have it so it covers like down to here. So we want to do something like deconstruct that. Yeah. And have something that's a bit like no, that's not right. It really needs to sort of, because like this area is like, we've got a gap here which is problematic, so it needs to basically swing around. It really needs to be where this is. I suppose what the time being we can do is that we can go something like this here in this gap. As a forward defensive location. And then have one here to cover this approach. And one here to cover this approach is probably the best bet. Yeah, one here to cover this approach, one here to cover this approach. And we really need to have one that's sort of, but to be honest, it needs to be slightly over. So for the time being, we can probably keep this one around until we get these two built. These three built. Okay. Alright. Comes the morning. Yeah. So that's fine for holding that position. We may want to basically chip that out a little bit. That's fine for covering this. This is fine for covering that. And that's okay. But I need to replace it with something really that stretches around here. 1 second, folks. That hurts. Okay. Solitary Knight. An error. Yeah, this is coming up on Miria's screen. Wants to keep safe on the map for a few hours. Blah, blah, blah. No. Not interested. Okay. Our tech priestess is getting a few communications issues. Okay. So let's get some construction going. I will also do another order for some more chopped wood. Like, chop that down, please. Are you seriously eating my meals? Right, okay. Blasted birds. Okay. Clear out these trees. Get the defences in place, please. Okay. Get that done. Man, that ran right on top of us. Rebar concrete battle axe. Okay, I mean it's fantastic, but do I look like a space wolf to you or Corn Berserker? Okay. We can get that stuff thrown up around here to make a solid perimeter, and within this perimeter we can then start to build more things. Okay. Right. Lovely fortifications. Come along, Grace. Nicely. Okay. We also want to haul a lot of the stone that we have lying around so they don't have cover options. Wood-wise, we're okay for wood. may have to put in a third generator. Okay. Yeah. Basic defensive perimeter set up. Rip this down. Okay. Deconstruct this. And we're going to rebuild it along here. I'm thinking we'll have like a defensive line here. With a redoubt in either corner. Okay. Need to get replacement light in. Okay. Right. So we basically want yeah. We want that. And we want one here to basically cover this approach. We want one down here to cover this approach in case they push across from here. Okay. And we're going to have a line of them here. Okay. That. Not happy with that design on that corner. Yep. It's not the nicest. I should have. No. Okay. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah. And we'll have a line going between them. With a way in. So they keep their symmetry. Okay. Right. More concrete is needed. Okay. But this is going to be our... This is a basic defensive line fortification for the guard. So we don't need it to be super complex, we just need it to hold. Yeah. Okay. So, the fortification of the area is coming along nicely. Okay. Rations. We're okay for rations, we're okay for food. The potato crop's going to come in soon. And we've got another rice crop on the way. Simple meals, but for simple folk. Okay. In the meantime, we will be setting out plans for the Manufactorum. Okay. Something like this, so we can divide it up into... Yeah, something like this so we can divide it up into zones would be good. We should have double doors, you know, steel doors. Would it be better to put the Manufactorum here? But I still need to put the warehouse down as well. For the time being, let's have like a general purpose factory set up here, and we'll have deep storage here. And then we can have the more industrial side of things set up here. Okay. Okay. Going to have doors on both sides so it's easy to get in and out of it with resources and the like. And a door in the middle so you can go into the warehouse and pull out supplies and take it into the storeroom. Okay. And then we're going to do... This, for the time being, is the next project, but we're not going to start that just yet. Okay. Because we need to get this built. Which means we need more concrete. Okay. Because our wealth is going to start ramping up. You're already at 40,000. Okay. So. Construction-wise, yeah, I'm going to throw you two in construction as well to help get this built. How is Protect Priest Maria? Well, Marie. Okay. Do the last batch of this, and then we'll cancel. Yeah, because we need to get this built. Right, put another one of these in. Along with a steel door, please, and we'll hook it up to the power grid. And with that, we can pull the fires out. We can put heaters in. And and we can make solid progress. Okay. Okay. So this is the next main project down here. This is the next main project down here for the Manufactorum and primary stores. That's getting built. Did we run out of concrete? No. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Power-wise... I forgot to add that up into the network. My mistake. Okay. So we've got now a good chunk of power. We can deconstruct these and go temperature, and we can build these things, which means we can set the rooms to certain temperatures. Okay. But yeah. So, as we look at Command Post Alpha, the primary defensive perimeter has been established. It should hold, but nothing's ever guaranteed in the guard. All these rocks away. Okay. Actually, that's a good thing. That's another good point we need to have. We need to have a temple to the Imperial Creed built as well. That's probably actually something we need to build for anything else. Structures. Concrete's not great for it, but it will have to do in a pinch. I don't want it to be too crammed in with everything else. Otherwise they'll start complaining about it. It just wants to be in this gap, really. Okay, get it built there. Actually, it might be a bit too big. Yeah, something like that should suffice for now for a church. Like, we haven't got a ton of the faithful, so we don't need to go overboard with having a massive church. Just enough to do the ideology stuff. Okay. So, at the time it stands now, I think it's a good place to put a cut in. Ooh, lots of animals. We have the defense base perimeter set up, which is very nice. I'm going to probably get into rip down these buildings, harvest the materials. We've got some more crops coming in. You need to get some more medicine. But besides that, yeah, as it stands, we're in a fairly good setup. But we do remember that our gameplay difficulty is Strive to Survive. Even if we're playing on Cassandra Classic, Strive to Survive is still not easy. Especially with how rapidly our wealth is increasing. So, but that's for next time, folks. I've been Cornish-Knight. This has been Rimworld Odyssey, Far From Home, and I shall see you all again soon. Goodbye.